Hello, and welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in a YouTube hop with the card hopping group. The technique we're supposed to use is in or out, so I took that as decorating the inside or the outside of the card. So I just showed you a card I just completed. I did the inside and the outside. So originally I was going to do a pop-up, but the car image I'm using was too big, so I just put it inside. And then if I'm going to make something really fancy like a pop-up or some other unexpected thing in the inside, I want the outside to be kind of more ordinary. So sticking with the card theme, I'm using a map that I cut out with my Lawn Fawn die to be the same size as a A2 size card, and I'm gluing that to my card panel. And I'm just going to make another card just like the one I showed you, but different colors. So this one will have a blue card. Then I'm gluing on a piece of blue cardstock that I also cut out with my Lawn Fawn dies. And it's just my large rectangle dies that I use, and I use the second smallest one for this one. And then I'm gluing on the words Happy Birthday that I cut out with my brother's Scan and Cut, and I used a blue metallic paper. On the other one I used a red metallic paper. Now I'm ready to do the inside of the card. So for my base it was a blue cardstock. So for the inside of my card I'm using this piece of Bristol smooth cardstock, and that will be my panel that I'm going to put inside. And I want it to look like a street and then the sky. So for the pavement I'm doing distress ink, blending, and you could use different colors. I just happen to have pumice stone. There could be other gray colors, I'm not sure, that would be better, but that's the only gray I have. And then I'm just going to go around the edge on all three sides with my black soot distress ink. Now I do apologize, I didn't realize I had gotten the paper further out of view, so I did cut some of it out and I will speed it up so you're not here watching me do ink blending for a long time. Now I'm ready to do the sky, so I'm just using my low-tack tape to mask off the pavement so I don't do the blue on top of it. So with the sky I'm using the Lawn Fawn cloud stencil, and also I'm using Tumbled glass distress ink and Salty Ocean. I really like the stencil because you can use about any color, making different shades of sky, and you can move it how you want. Sometimes you'll see me just use portions of it, or I'll turn it. It has 4 different sides. You can turn it whatever way you want to get the look you want, and you can also turn it on the other side to get the clouds going the other way. Then I just used my Nuvo Deluxe glue to glue my panel to the inside of my card. The theme of the hop is use it or lose it. So we're supposed to use something we haven't used for at least 6 months, or something we've rarely used or maybe haven't used. So I'm using this die from Elizabeth Craft Designs that I believe I bought in 2019. I bought it at a scrapbook convention that I went to sometime before the pandemic. I've only used the die once, and that was as a Safari Jeep, and this is actually called Safari Jeep, and I kind of cut it out of Bristol smooth cardstock and colored it with distress inks to make it look like a Jeep. So to make it a little different, I'm using metallic papers, and I'm making both of these cards for 2 of my children in preschool. And it's kind of funny because the one student, we knew his birthday was coming up this week, and the other student was a newer one that started in December, so we didn't have his birthday written down. So we looked through his papers and we found out it was the exact same day as this child. So it was kind of funny. Out of, I think we have about 22 students total. They don't all come every day, so I get confused. But anyway, that 2 of them happen to have the same birthday, and one of the boys is a twin who's in the class next door, so we'll have 3 children with a birthday tomorrow. So that's pretty fun. And I don't know much about the one boy that started in December because he doesn't speak much English, but I do know he likes to build and he does like cars. And the boy that's the twin that's been there all year, he definitely likes cars. So I thought, I don't know if he likes Jeeps, but he probably does because he seems to like everything that's on 4 wheels, trucks and everything. But I know he likes sports cars. So this doesn't really look like a sport car, but I thought if I used metallic paper that it would look more sporty. So that's what I'm doing. And you can just use the paper that comes with your dies on this to see the picture of how to put it together. It's pretty easy once you figure out all the different dies. So just a lot of small parts and gluing it together. But it's kind of fun if you like kind of putting puzzle pieces together. This is kind of like that. And it's kind of neat to see that you can get a different look depending how you do it. So at the end of this video, I'll link to my other video where I made it look like a safari Jeep. So you can either color it or cut it out of colored paper so that you don't have to color it. You'll see me putting on all the different pieces. I have the blue metallic paper that I used for Happy Birthday that I cut out the main part of the Jeep. And then I decided to do the grill and the bumper as silver metallic. I used yellow metallic for the headlights and the black paper for, I don't know what's behind the radiator, and the steering wheel. I also bought a set of dies from Elizabeth Craft Designs that does different hats, which is great because then you can use those to come up with different things. So I have used this set last spring because I had a graduation hat, and I used that to make preschool graduation cards. Just added those to different characters. So I decided I would do a baseball hat because then I thought that would look a little bit more sporty and less like safari. So I did blue on red and red on blue, which is good because the die cuts out both of these pieces. So if you're doing 2 cards, you can cut out coordinating colors and use both of them for 2 different cards. I decided to use the dog for my character, so I cut that out with white and black paper. And on the face, they have the lines kind of embossed to draw the mouth. So that's what I'm doing with my black micron pen. Here's the dies that I'm using. So you can see they have it where you can make the dog sitting or the dog standing. So they give you different feet to cut out depending if you want them standing. They give you spots if you want to use spots and different shaped ears for whatever ears you want to use. So I'm going to have him sitting since he's going to be sitting in a car. And I'm actually going to do his whole body, although his whole body is not going to show up behind the car. So I really don't have to do the details below the steering wheel since you don't see that, but I will show you how to put it together. So the next step that I did is glue on the nose and then the eye. I just put the one eye on because I'm making it spotted because my dog is white with black spots, so I wanted to do that. And it has this little black circle that cuts out with an eyepiece in it. So I'm using that for one of the eyes. You could just use 2 of the black eyes, or if you lose them or you don't want to mess with those little tiny eyes, you could just color that in with the micron pen. I decided to use the dog die because I've never used it before, even though I bought it about 3 years ago at that convention. And also I figured both boys know what a dog is, and also I thought using a dog will make the Jeep look less like a safari Jeep than if I use a tiger or a lion for the character. So I had 2 different ears you could cut out. One was kind of more this roundish triangle that I'm using, and then they had some others that looked droopy, I guess more like a beagle. So I decided on the triangle ones. Now I had them on there originally, and I thought they looked fine, but then I kind of struggled when I glued them on, so I don't know if I glued it differently than I had it laid down, but I went to do the second ear, and every way that I turned it, it didn't seem to be the same, and then I was going to change the first ear, but it was already stuck down, so then I had to keep messing with the second ear to get it to look good. So I'll speed this video up quite a bit so you don't have to watch me struggling with this. Now they're just triangles, so it's probably a lot easier than I made it into. Next I glue on his hat, and then I glue his collar onto his body that I cut out of the same blue cardstock, and then I glue on a little, tag that I cut out of silver paper to go with the Jeep. And after I glue on the collar, then I attach the body and the head together. Since the bottom part of his body is going to be in the Jeep, I really didn't need to do his feet, but I just wanted to show you how to put it together. So these little pieces for his feet, you just use a micron pen again to draw on his claws and glue that to where his feet is, which you can see on the body shape and that just gives them a little more dimension, and you could do it a different color than what the body part is. Now if you're going to do the sitting dog, you would put his feet like this, but I'm not going to glue them on because I'm going to have them sticking up so it looks like he's holding the steering wheel, so I'll do that later. And the tail will just go behind his body. Finally, I add the spots that I cut out. The spots are optional, so you can put those wherever you like. As I mentioned, this is part of a YouTube hop, so I'll put a link to the different participants in the description below, and I believe it will also have a hashtag, so you can click the hashtag to find the other people on the hop and get more inspiration for using different products. Now, I do like how this turned out, so I will definitely be keeping my dies, and I'll try to use them more often. Then I draw the claws onto his other legs, and then I kind of mess with it quite a bit just to make sure I'm gluing them where I want, where it'll look like he's holding the steering wheel. And also, I keep fussing with the card just to make sure I'm not making him too tall so that he fits on the card. Now, of course, if you look at the whole body, his legs will look funny this way, but you won't be able to see that when I get him in the Jeep. I'll put a list of all the products that I'm using in the description below. Some of these will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that the links generate, and that helps support my channel. Also, when I bought these, I got them at a convention, so I got a discount for buying X amount. Like you buy so many, I think you buy 3 or 4 and you got one free. So on her website, she also has sales at Elizabeth Craft Designs, or if you purchase them from a different store, a lot of times they'll have sales, maybe 10% off, or just depending what store you're buying from. And I think her dies are really reasonable, and as you can see in here, I can really use these different ways. You can look at other videos I have, so you can get a lot of different looks and use these for a variety of cards. At the end of the video, you'll see that I decided the hat needed a little bit more detail to make it pop a little bit, especially with the background at the top of the card being the same color as the hat. So I took my blue micron pen and outlined where there's an embossed lines on his hat, as well as the little button that's on top of the hat. And I think that helps it stand out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a like. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. If you are a subscriber, thank you for your continued support, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.